Good morning. This is August 1st, and this is my weekly rant.
Another weekly rant.
You're my son. You're not my weekly rant. And, well, we had a couple of groups in the Black Lives Matter vein decide that they should be armed. And they did some stupid things and shot each other. If it wasn't so tragic, it would and killed each other. And if it wasn't so tragic, it would be funny. We saw at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in where was it? Seattle, Portland, whatever. One of those libtard areas. Literally retarded, stupid idiots running the places. We saw that degenerated into murders, gun fights, and things. Not to mention the horrible squalor that they lived in, despite getting everything they needed to live in there without squalor. I have many times been parts of large camps, hundreds, thousands of people camping without squalor.
What's without what?
Because the people recognize the need to keep their own place clean. The suburbs don't keep clean because there's some group of people paid to keep them nice. That says John Shatke for president. Free your immortality.
What's free your immortality?
Immortality means living forever. Would you like to live forever? Is living good?
Yeah.
From the mouths of babes. So what's going on? Well, when you have a philosophy which does not respect other people's property, and you get things without working for them, you do not respect the things that you have or the things other people have. The reason the suburbs are filled with well-kept houses with well-kept lawns for mile after mile is not because there's some magical genie of lawn keeping that does it, but because each and every person there cares about their own property and cares about and respects that the other people around them have also put in the effort to have a nice place, and they care and they don't want to disrespect that. I spent this week in my backyard moving the remaining 4 or 5 tons of rock in to make my foundation for my patio. And where the rock was, there's a bare spot where the grass died off. Sort of. Grass roots won't die no matter what you do to them. And what you get back to having water and light, they'll grow back. That's just the way grass works.
Please play
Unless
the
you've literally
dumpy
torn the roots out.
robot game. I want to play the dumpy robot game.
Not yet, Kenneth. I'm talking about the philosophy of left versus right. And so those people in the suburbs. Please stop that.
That was really loud.
Yes, that was really loud.
And those go.
Reap the benefits of caring for each other's property. Contrast this to the ghetto. You don't have to. Please stop, Kenneth. You don't have to walk through too big a city before you recognize that the people don't care about it. There's litter in the gutter. There's oftentimes the alleys will stink of urine. Well, what's going on? When you don't own something, you don't care about it the same way as if you do own something. If you do know that. When there's anonymity about who did something, you care less about the problems that you cause. Every retailer that tries to run a business in the inner city has to charge higher in order to pay for the additional loss to theft. They call it shrinkage. Because somehow the accounting doesn't work up on the number of things you sold, the number of things you ordered in. And the difference is the shrinkage. How much was stolen, either by the employees or by the populace. In the suburbs, where you people were respecting property rights because they worked hard for what they got, and so the other people working hard for what they get is respected, the shrinkage is much less. Kids, mostly. In the inner city, where a lot more people are being given the fundamentals of their life, and often with strings attached. If you have an EBT card, you can't buy a number of things like booze. So how could you get booze? You don't have any cash. You steal it. There's a reason Walmart doesn't sell sample sizes of booze. Deerberg, a couple miles down the road here, sells little sample sizes of booze, and they're not even carefully watched. They're in a bin at the front of the store near where the cashiers are, but the cashiers all have big racks of candy displays between them and that. They barely, they would not be able to see somebody lifting one and pocketing it. But I'll bet you those don't go away. They don't magically disappear. Why? Because the people who go to Walmart
are not idiots.
Are people who are getting things free. Come on. The people who go to Deerbergs are spending more for their stuff because they want higher quality. They're interested in getting something for value for value. Deerbergs is the suburban store. Walmart, the urban. The Walmart is, I don't think it's the end of the bus line. I think the buses go further down Telegraph. But you never see the poor crowd shopping at the Deerbergs. Never. It's always white yuppies. So the Deerbergs put out a display of sample sizes of different boozes. Put out, you can have 3 aisles worth of liquor. Offer a good selection because they're going to sell it. Even the top shelf stuff's going to sell. So the irony is that in these Black Lives Matter protests, besides beating up black people who don't agree with them, that was a hilarious story of the white Black Lives Matter protesters beating up a black man who wore a Trump hat. Because black lives only matter if they believe. They have also killed 29 people in these Black Lives Matter protests so far. Apparently, those black lives don't matter. The truth of the matter is, the rate of killing by police officers is much lower than the rate of killing by Black Lives Matter protesters. If it wasn't so tragic, I'd be laughing at the stupidity. Causing more of what you are trying to stop during the protests, trying to stop it, is insane. And the reason that these protests have gone so violent and so in so many places with so much vigor is because of liberal politicians not wanting to seem like they are mean. You have to be mean to people who are being violent. I'm sorry, that's just the way to stop them. Nothing else really works. Especially when you get a crowd of people being violent. So, we've seen the difference between left and right armed protests. At Charlotte, in Virginia, the left incited violence, the right just made noise.
Yeah.
At the Virginia State House, thousands of people with arms. No one shot. No one harmed. They didn't even force their way into the courthouse.
Puppy.
In Portland, at the courthouse, they're trying to burn it down night after night for weeks. And the merest response of finding the exact people who did things, picking them up, and arresting them, raised hues and cries of fascism. While America is fascist, and has been since the 1930s, arresting violent people is not fascism. It is merely repaying the people who are violent violence. And the next step is not going to be just murder, not like it was in the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. The next step is going to be a trial on terrorism charges of, because they are trying to use violence in order to make a political change. And it's going to be prison. So, no, this is not fascism. This is the rule of of laws. And even in Portland, law applies. If you want to put an end to this madness, we need to get rid of Democrats in power. Lock, stock, and barrel, every last one of them, everywhere. Write it in, because they will steal every other vote. And please, for president, write this in. John Shadkey for president. Because nobody else is going to set you free.